Finance Committee, March 7th, 2024, committee to order. First order of business is approval of February 1st minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Second is financial update.
So looking at February's financials, we're 65.38% through the fiscal year. So far, for all accounts overall, we're at 66.5%, so we're in good shape there. Salary and benefits were 59.8% used. And expenses that are not salary and benefit, we're at 83.3%. Our department is currently working with auditors on our FY23 single audit. So we've been working on gathering items for that. And as an FYI, the city has recently gone through the process of looking for new health insurance outside of Health Trust. They have been working with School Care, which offers Cigna insurance. They have found it to be quite a savings from Health Trust. So the City Council has given permission to kind of move forward with them putting that information in front of all their units, bargaining units. And I think they're in the process right now. They've done a few units so far. So we're in the very early stages, but we're also looking at that option to kind of save some money. We're looking right now at whether we can kind of piggyback on the rates that the city was given, or if we would have to go out and get our own rates for a separate unit. So as soon as we know information further on that, we'll forward it to you guys.
Just to add some context to that, so the Health Trust and Anthem, which we're currently a part of, those are contractual items that's written in the contract, very finite, codified language. But the city, as we've explored this with the city, one of the reasons we were Health Trust and they were Health Trust, meaning we weren't part of one group, was because we have like 3 times the employees they do, which means more claims. You have more claims, you pay a higher rate. So the history that the HR director kind of shared with us was like, she believes, based on some of the research she's done at City, is that's why at some point we were both Health Trust, but we were on our own plans through Health Trust versus like one municipality, one Health Trust for all of our employees. So we're at the very beginning stages. We met with HR from the city to review it. We've started to gather information for Cigna so they can look at what our potential rate would be. As you heard a few months ago, right, our guaranteed max rate was the highest rate that could happen through Health Trust. It was 25%, which equated to about $2 million. So we're hopeful that even if we don't get the city rate, we get a rate lower than 25%, and I've been in touch with all of the unit presidents, and we have a presentation that will be taking place next week here at Central Office for those units to hear from the HR director with some very specifics, detailed information from the Cigna School Care, and even though we may not have all of our claims through Cigna so they can guarantee a rate, we'll have a ballpark number to see what their interest level is, and then we'd probably have additional meetings once we knew that. And then if, by chance, it was acceptable to all the units, the contracts would need to be opened, lawyers would be involved to amend those contracts, and hopefully, again, hopefully, that would lower the budget that we're looking to pass on to the board tonight. So one of the things I have on my to-do list tomorrow is to talk to the city manager. Is, as you know, once we submit the budget, I go, members of the board, everybody will go, Ms. Kelly will be going to city council meetings as they talk about the budget. Because in years past, even though we've submitted a tax cap compliant budget, they may trim our bottom line even more. But if we can, in those presentations, share what maybe we are saving from a potential change in healthcare, that might be to our benefit. So, like I said, we'll keep the board apprised of things, and I'm thankful for the city's support. I'm thankful for all of the units that we reached out to, that they're willing to hear the information. So it's been a great collaborative effort thus far.
How much do we save if the employee does not use the benefits they get? How much do we save if they don't use our benefits with the district?
It depends.
A year.
Well, it depends on what the,
Well, I'm just looking at, because I know in some other places of employment, they offer you a buyout.
we don't do that here.
I know we don't,
Yeah.
that's why I'm looking would we benefit if, because I know the city offers a buyout.
Yeah, we talked to the city HR director about that. The buyout that the city has is something that they don't plan to change, meaning they're not ever gonna increase it, at least at this point. And from her analysis, it's not, the cost-benefit ratio doesn't equate to, if you offer someone $2,500, you're not gonna take a family plan that would cost you, let's say, $35,000 in the open market. So we can continue to look into that with the city, but I would, because we don't have that in our contract now, I wouldn't want to then have to start negotiating that item as well with all of our units. It might be prudent to add that to a list of items for future negotiations down the line, but just the healthcare change would be a big change that we need to get through. And not to put pressure on anyone, but we would have to have that done before the start of next school year. So we're really up against it in time frame.
Mr. Mayor?
That was my question,
Yep.
and timing wise
It's,
I know it's critical, but, so the sense of, your sense you're getting from the bargaining units, is there amicable to at least getting the information and open it, with the potential of opening the insurance portion, strictly the insurance portion of the contract?
yeah, they've been very willing to hear, and I don't want to speak for them, but I think if they're going to save money and it's good for everyone, I think they'd be willing to entertain the option to do that.
Question on financial update? All right, next item is Rochester trustees of the trust funds. I had Sherry forward you an email that I received from the Williams Evans Trust, and they are donating $500 to help with outstanding lunch balances at the elementary level. So talking with Kyle, we recommended to bring it to finance for us to discuss on how we go about that. So we'll open it up for a discussion. The recommendation. You want me?
Yeah, I can just share, I mean, $500 to each school is a substantial amount of money, and it's greatly appreciated. I would maybe recommend the board not take any action, but just discuss it tonight, because to remind folks, I think it was Mr. Hopkins' second to last year, we had about $28,000 in lunch debt. And it was something discussed at finance, and then Foster's, when we had a local reporter, actually put it in the paper. A very kind person, I don't want to say any more than that, stepped forward and paid the full bill, which was wonderful. And they didn't want to be noticed, but we publicized that happened because it was a great gift to the district. Next year at that same time, we had $38,000 in debt, because everyone thought that person would come forward again and write another check. So I would be cautious on how we apply this, and we can talk more about it in the future, because you will get into the problem with, if he has $20 in debt, he's got $200 in debt, she has $150. Are you going to individually wipe debt, or are you going to look at bottom lines? So it's I think a very complicated conversation that we need to take time to think about.
Anyone want to have a discussion on it, or?
Just a quick comment.
Yeah, Mr. Travers?
I guess we also run into issues where we have School Street School with 100 kids, or less than 100 kids, but you have Chamberlain with over 250, 300 kids, and they both get $500. So there's a little inequity there too. So maybe if down the road, if we're going to separate them by school, maybe do it by percentage of students. Something along those lines.
So the chair of this committee, we invited him to be at the full school board meeting next Thursday, so if that as well, we can obviously talk with them if we want to do something like that. Ms. Keith?
Yeah, I would think you'd look at family dynamics as to see, I mean, I'm sure the wealth value of the parents in School Street, a lot different than the value of the parents in Chamberlain. There may be, there may be some numbers there that are the same, but it's just, I don't think a blanket $500 per anyone or anything like that. I think you have to look a little closer into, are these families capable of actually paying that versus the ones that are going to Disneyland in 2 weeks,
I think before we start nitpicking, we gotta just think of the generosity that we just got donated to the school first, though. So I think that's what before we start nitpicking this and start going down that rabbit hole, let's think about that. Mr. Kinnear.
So, I think, do we have to accept the donation? Or even though we haven't decided how it's going to be divvied out, if you will, do we have to?
The board doesn't have to take formal action on the size, this size of the donation.
Mr. Boyd.
So when the chair of this committee is coming forward, they're gonna give like what they, I mean, I know we said it was $500 per school. So does it have, I guess my question would be for them to present the same, when they say that, is that a lump sum we can apply to the district, or does it have to go to each school individually? Because
So the email said like 500 per school, but obviously we can explain our dynamics.
yeah,
And I'm sure they're gonna be happy with however we wanna distribute it to the best benefit all our students.
it's amazing. It's a good problem to have to talk about.
Yes, it's a very good problem, I just wanna make sure that's where we.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, it's only for elementary schools.
Any other discussion on it? No? So I'll just put on next Thursday, we'll have him chair that. I'll move on to item number 4, the FY25 budget.
Does anyone have any questions about?
Let's just walk through this if we could one more time. I don't know if you can put up the green bar sheet. Let's just make sure we're on the right page. I know earlier I was like, hey, let's put 270, but go through all of our changes here so we're on the same page. Thank you, Cal. So just going through this to make sure I understand it and make sure we don't have any questions. The RMS vacant custodian position, that's a vacant position. We're not losing a person, we're just not gonna fill that vacancy.
This one probably should have been, as well.
Correct, just wanna make sure. That first principal payment was just, would have been July. We don't have to pay July's payment, correct?
They just went out to bond recently,
So
so
we won't even be due
they
when
didn't
they
include
caught.
our projects in that bond issue.
So that's the 166,000.
Correct.
For cash CIP, we just reviewed the building security and door hardware. We have other funding sources, so we can cut that by the 55,000. Rack body, cargo body, something we can discuss, and then reduction of 8,000 on food service. That saves $200,000 there, correct? And then we have the positions that we talked about in personnel, which brings a total of $1.4 million cut. But the recommendation that we have to talk about was personnel to bring that 270 back in.
Right, but was that, like Ms. Harrington brought up, are we breaking that?
That's where we have options. Sometimes it's easier to say, we put this and leave it to district to allocate that as needed.
I think-
And they make a decision because Cal could get 0 people leaving and maybe it's a decision that we want to retain these, or people are leaving and we have other areas.
Yeah, we can
That's
allocate.
district's recommendation.
I think that makes no sense, try to break it up, allocate it, just putting it back into the district as a whole.
I just want to review that and have that up there, so when
That's
we're
at
discussing
270.
this makes the most sense.
270, 587?
Yeah. But I believe the motion in personnel was to return it, personnel side of the budget.
Then I amended it to bring the
Yes.
finance for discussion.
Okay, all right.
Any other discussion
Yeah,
on?
Yeah.
Let's have any discussion where, any recommendations on that? Anyone wanna make a motion? Wanna make a motion on it?
So, go ahead.
I think, so the intention is to return, to keep the current layout where we're actually reducing total line and start at the 1.445 million, which puts us 270 over what we have to cut, right, the required cuts. So just make sure if I'm gonna make a motion, the motion would be to return anything over and above the tax cap compliant number to the district budget to be dispersed or
Go through this.
yeah,
Allocated. rate.
allocated as administration sees suitable. That make sense? Right? So anything over and above, not necessarily the 270 number,
Yeah, I got that.
anything over and above the proposed cuts, or anything over and above the proposed, yeah,
Anything over and above a tax cap.
the tax cap calculation, yeah, be returned to the district budget as the administration
So
sees.
the motion's on the table, is there a second? Second. Harrington, second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And, is the only, Mr. Kusalon.
Now, so I would like to ask Mr. Toddy to do the 1-ton pickup truck, bid it out, the 0-turn bid it out, and your recommendation was for the cargo or for the rack truck that you would be able to get by,
Pick one.
Cargo van in Norville.
then if you would, I'd like him to bid out those 3.
Do we have to motion for the bid out? Or can he just
I
go?
was-
you
You
just
can
go
for
right?
formality.
You can if you want, it's not a
Okay,
requirement.
okay, I'll second it.
And then if that's done, that would be a savings of approximately $147,000 as long as we have the cash on hand.
Oh, Mr. Todd,
The cargo body savings was already accounted for in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So it's
So it'd be
90 additional
$90,000.
$1,000.
Sorry, I
Just
apologize.
want to make sure.
Yeah,
I apologize.
yeah.
alright. So you wanna restate your motion?
Alright, so I'd still like for him to bid out all 3.
Okay.
And then that gives us 3 options to look at, just in case one falls through.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Franklin seconds. Any more discussion on it? Mr. White?
So is there a reason why we would not have him bid out all 4?
Because you said the rack truck wouldn't have been available by June 30th.
Who knows? Potentially.
Okay,
There's a
yeah, let's
cab
do all
chassis
4.
on this law.
Okay, so can I amend my motion to include all 4 of those items?
I'll
You gotta amend his motion.
We talked about the dishwasher too, you might as well throw that in there, Mr. Kuzma.
Alright, let's throw the dishwasher in there too.
I'll second the
Sorry.
amendment.
He didn't say a chip, no.
What are the 4 items?
So we're gonna do rack truck, cargo body, a dishwasher, Z-turn, and a 1-ton pickup truck. We're gonna bid them out, and then he'll bring us the bids back.
And we beg Sam
You make that motion?
Yes.
Ms. Harrington seconds. Any more discussion on it? Alright, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Alright, so the next item, well, we have to approve the building to finance, am I correct? Even though we're going out to bid, we can still remove.
So, Right now, so I would recommend wait to do the motion of the fiscal budget for next year as a separate motion at the end of the meeting and other. Take care of the remaining agenda items. We don't have anything for 5 and 6, but you want to go through the agenda, finalize the agenda, and then call a motion to specially approve.
So the next item is 5 year.
Well, you gotta go anything, just name each, item 5, item 6.
Oh, all right, so item 5, financial items from personnel committee. There's nothing. Item 6, financial items from building committee. Nothing. All right, 5 year.
More finance. Just load up the sheet just to make sure. We don't have anything right now. The capital reserve funds will be something after budget season. We'll bring that back up for conversation.
When is the first 5 year?
March 24th.
March 24th. All righty, so nothing for 5 year. Any public comment? No public? No public, no? All right, we'll close public comment, move on to number 9. Mr. Harrington?
Sam, when do you think you'll have the beginning estimate of any surplus?
I will try to get a ballpark number for April's finance committee.
Okay, thank you.
Any other? Ms. Harrington?
Do we have a bonded schedule, or is there a chart we can look at for long-term bonding?
Did I send it? I sent the existing
It's the
20-year debt.
existing.
Yeah.
We're looking for projected, like over the next 20 years, what's coming due.
Yeah, I can work with the finance director of the city. It's really hard to project, just not knowing when certain things will be done. But I'll work with him to get that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other? So we want to, someone will make a motion for Ms. Harrington.
Yeah, I'll make the motion that we move the personnel budget to the next finance committee meeting. To the special finance committee.
Second.
Any discussion? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mrs. Harrington?
I make a motion to move the building budget to the next special finance committee meeting.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Mrs. Harrington?
I make a motion to adjourn the finance committee.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.